Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be reviewing Doctor Who Old Soldiers, the third story from Season 2 of the Companion Chronicles from Big Finish Productions. Old Soldiers is a third Doctor story told by the Brigadier as played by Nicholas Courtney himself. He has returned to play the role of the Brigadier. As like the other Companion Chronicles, this follows the same format as it is a story being told by the Brigadier. The Brigadier is telling this story. Unlike the others, it's more or less the Brigadier is telling you the story. Like he's met you at a bar and is telling you this story, rather than in the other two, where the companions were telling it to someone and we were hearing that. It's more like this is very much the Brigadier is just telling you a story. Now, this story is pretty much the Brigadier goes to a castle called Kreigskind, I believe is the name of the castle. It's been a military fortress since like the days of the Roman Empire, and it's a secret facility to UNIT now at the moment. And the Brigadier arrives there, and he finds that he and his men are under attack by what appears to be Roman soldiers. However, when they shoot the Roman soldiers just kind of like disappear, fade away. So they pretty much refer to it as phantoms. Roman soldiers from the past have come back as these phantoms and are attacking the Brigadier and his men. Obviously, the Brigadier calls the third Doctor in, and we go from there to try and figure out what is actually happening. As for when the story takes place, the story is very much said to take place after Doctor Who and the Silurians, as the Brigadier does mention that. So, let's talk about the narration by Nicholas Courtney. His narration is... Well, here's the thing. It's always nice to just hear Nicholas Courtney. Like, he's got, like, such a great voice. The thing is, he doesn't really narrate, like, do any voices. He's very much just narrating the Brigadier's thoughts and inner monologue. For the third Doctor, he doesn't really put on a voice. More or less, he just makes his voice a bit higher, I guess. But even then. What I do need to talk about is the other actor in this. Of course, Companion Chronicles have one other actor playing another role. Toby Longworth was very much brought in because the Brigadier can't do the accents needed for the other two very important characters in the story. So Toby Longworth was brought in to do them, and he is used quite a lot, like shockingly a lot, to do this. So there's that. Characters now, of course, we have the Brigadier as our main character. He is fine. The Brigadier is the Brigadier. You cannot not like the Brigadier. Let's be honest. He's the Brigadier. But he's great in this. We get to see what goes through the Brigadier's head as he tries to deduce and figure out on his own what is causing all this. And he starts to use a lot of the stuff he's picked up from the Doctor to try and find out what these phantoms are doing here. The third Doctor makes his way in about a good, just a bit before halfway. And he is off doing his own thing, trying to figure out what the phantoms are. But we don't get to see too much of the Doctor in this story. Then we have the character of Konrad, played by Toby Longworth. I believe Konrad is the Brigadier's friend. It's hard to remember which one is which, but I believe Konrad is the Brigadier's friend that Toby Longworth plays, who I'm not going to spoil what his significance is to the story, but he does play a big role in it, and I think if you pay attention you can see what his role will be. But Toby Longworth did a great job playing him. He is sick for most of the story, so he's not going around fighting phantoms. The other character that Toby Longworth plays is Schrader, who is in charge of the base when the Brigadier gets there. And Schrader is very much a military man. He's very anti-alien, so when he finds out the Doctor's an alien, there is a bit of conflict there. And yeah, Schrader, he pretty much plays like your standard military stubborn type character in this story. So yeah, that's all really the characters. I will say the story itself does get, when I was listening to the story, this is the weaker of the three I've heard. Mother Russia, Helican Prime, and this one. I say this is the weakest one. The other two really engaged me more than this one. I felt this one could get a bit slow at times. I felt when you start to drift off and think of other things during an audio adventure, that's not a good sign. And that's sadly what was happening to me here. The reason for why the Phantoms are there isn't the best. I'm not a huge fan of the reason for why the Phantoms are showing up in the castle. The ending to everything is, I want to say it's a pretty good ending. I will say at least the ending made up for a pretty lackluster explanation. And I mean, you are confused for a while, like, well, what are these Phantoms doing here? But then after a while, it kind of goes away. So yeah, Old Soldiers by James Swallow, the writer for this story. I completely forgot to mention him. I have not experienced anything by James Swallow before. So this is the first story of his I've experienced, and I don't want to say I don't like him, because that's not true. This story isn't terrible by any means, but next time I see his name on something, I won't be jumping for joy going, oh, it's a James Swallow story. So yeah, overall, Old Soldiers is the weakest so far of the Companion Chronicles I've heard, but it's not like completely just melt your face awful, if you get what I mean. So I would be giving Old Soldiers a 7 out of 10. Not the worst thing ever, but definitely not something I'll be coming back to quickly. So yeah, that's it. That is my review for Doctor Who Old Soldiers. You can listen to the story on by buying it on Big Finish, bigfinish.com, or you can listen to it for free on Spotify. I will leave the link to buy it from Big Finish in the description below. And thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you all next time.